Very, very happy to be here, especially to see the youth among us. I prepared a presentation, but I think this is how we have to deliver it. Yes. I'm not a professor, but I have tried and tested African wisdom in my life and have harvested a lot of benefit. Last year, I was in a church, and then one lady approached me and said, "Oh, you seem to be doing very well in business. What is your secret?" So after speaking with her, we sat for like an hour. Then I forgot about it. After a month, she saw me with my wife walking. Then she ran to me and she said, "Mr. Senyo, it works. It's working." And I said, that's it. Something has happened to us. It is as though somebody pressed the pause button on our brain. Because we have stopped functioning as normal human beings ever since we lost the war to slavery, and then its sister colonization also came to compound the problem. There is a way we used to achieve great things in the past, which is not common. I come from a royal family in Kliko. Those of you who know Nogokpo, Some, Kliko, Agbozume. Okay. Growing up, what I normally say is when the problem is very difficult in the palace, the elders say something very important. They say, we have to sleep over this problem. And the next day, when they reassemble, they come with the solution. It is only recently that I gathered the courage to understand that. The chief himself is a dreamer. If for somebody to lead a community, the person is a dreamer and surrounded by learned people. The method of acquisition of knowledge has changed. We used to acquire knowledge in a multi-dimensional way. You take a substance, for instance, a tree. We will ask, what is the purpose of this tree? The chief priest will investigate and find the purpose of the tree. The chief priest, again, will answer the question, to what extent can we use this tree? That is sustainability. Because we have realized bitterly that we can't consume everything. There are some things you can only consume a part of it. There are some things you can only consume a portion of it, or only the root, or only the leaf. We move further to ask another question to the chief priestess and the chief priest. How can we transform this material? And that's why, if you read history, there was only one place on earth where the human beings started transforming things. We took the soil and asked, how could we transform it? We burned it, and then it melted. Then we produced interesting things, tools, including wheels, the first motorized vehicles, which were driven by horses. We started that innovation. Now, how did this innovation happen? There was only one knowledge. The knowledge is that, one, we are interconnected with God. We are not sinners, but we are children of God. That before creation, nothing. And that nothing is God. And that nothing transforms itself into everything. So we are aspects of what created the world. And that exists within us and everything around us. Then our identity was children of God, not sinners. Children of God. That anything that we can see in our imagination, we can achieve it. So the ancestors, my grandfather told me that what they do when they say they are going to sleep over it is that in the night they lie on their bed and then imagine that the problem is solved. And their emotions rise up as though the problem is solved. And that generates messages in them. But the next morning, when all of them gather again, they say the same thing. This Togbi will say the same thing. This Togbi will say, 3 people just imagine, who are specially trained, imagine that the problem is solved. And they sleep like that. And the next morning, the solution gushes into their mind. We have stopped dreaming. We have stopped dreaming. That is just our problem. We have stopped dreaming. When we do business, we always say, the hunter cannot go into the forest if he doesn't know the movement of his prey. We took time to actually study the market, to find out exactly what the market wants. We have well-advanced entrepreneurship culture. You look at the Igbo system. Are you aware that when the Igbo people, like our brothers in Nigeria, when they enter an industry, they take over. They take it over. I mean, they were in Accra, and everybody started shouting in Abosokai, sacking them. We have a very powerful entrepreneurial culture, which is based on competence, efficiency. Even our chieftaincy is not something that you can just stand up and become a chief. To become Yana, I think we know what it means. It's built on competency. If you don't have the experience in governing, what are you going to do to be a chief? And so, when people go to school and come back and say, we don't have any job, did you learn any job in school? You didn't learn any job in school. Why are you coming out looking for a job? You must now go for apprenticeship. We have changed the vocabulary to internship. We have changed it to incubation camps. These are all vocabulary. But our culture was built on competence. You must practice something before you can actually do it. If we can change our educational system right now into apprenticeship, we will still have the chief priests. Today we'll call them professors, who will be doing the theoretical and then the imaginative, the dreaming. So a chief priest equivalent in today's term is a professor. A chief priestess equivalent today is a professor who knows all the knowledge. Why is the tree there? What can we use the tree for? What does the tree depend on? Interconnectedness. Oh, the worm. Why do we put chemical on the worm? Hey, what's the purpose of the worm? It gives fertilizer to the tree, and the tree gives it sugar. Oh, that's the relationship. That's how nature designs it to fertilize the soil. Our approach to learning has changed. And that's why we seem to be not having capacity to compete with the world. We are even thinking that science is Western. No! Science is our culture. The entire culture is scientific because it's built on observation of nature, including the spirituality. We never separated spirituality from the physical. The difference between us and the West can be seen clearly. One, they think that God is outside them, and we think God is inside us. They think that they are sinners. We think that we are children of God and an aspect of God. They think that resources are scarce. We know that resources are infinite. And our most important resource is our mind. Because we believe in the mind. So our secret is our mind. That's why when they attacked us, they knew that they couldn't defeat us until they damaged our mind. To think that it's God that chooses our destiny for us. So we have to wait for God to choose our destiny for us. No, we choose our destiny because we are an aspect of God. We are children of God, and whatever we can see with our mind's eye, we can achieve it. And once we are able to see it, we can achieve it. And when it comes to business, the first step of business is to do a market research. The next step is to set your vision. Visualization, something you do with the eye of your mind. You see all over, you see symbols of eye. We don't joke with the eye of the mind, because if the eye of the mind is able to see the business solution, you have finished. The ideas to implement the business comes that you write down as a business plan. You may not have idea about a business. You may not have idea about building a space like this using African indigenous knowledge, but once you dream it and you can see it clearly, oh, we have invented a place like this that when there's no light, it's still cool. Then ideas will flow. Mathematics was central part of our culture. Chemistry was central part of our culture. Biology. At least now, when the world has caught up with some of our knowledge in quantum physics, they now know that even plants communicate. They now know that even thoughts can influence matter. My latest business I set up is Eco Restore. And the Eco Restore, for the past 5 years, we have planted over 1 million indigenous trees. We've planted shea, we've planted dawa, we've planted tamarind. And I have a dream. Sinsibi. We know Sinsibi. African grape. I have a dream that we can make a plantation of it, and we can put it into a plan. And once we follow it, we put in the action, we will achieve it. Thank you very much.